Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Narendra from Civil Department. I am going to explain about planning of manpower, material, equipment and finance, which is also known as 4Ms. 4Ms means when we go for the construction of a building, we should be plan about the manpower, material, equipment as well as money, settling of the money or investment of the money. When we come to the introduction part about the planning of manpower, material, finance as well as equipment. So proper planning is required for the management of the resources are essential for the successful completion of the construction project. So there are four primary resources that will be need for the efficiently or effectively managed or the manpower, material, equipment as well as finance. So each of these factors plays a critical role in ensuring the project is completed on time or within the stipulated time and within the budget and also with required quality standards. When we come to the manpower planning in the construction process, the manpower planning involves identifying of the manpower or skilled labor or non-skilled labor and organizing of the manpower. So wherever we required on those days we should be implement the manpower in the construction field and allocation of the human resources efficiently as well as effectively to maximize the productivity. Then coming to the what are the steps involved in the manpower planning. The manpower planning which will be includes assessment of the workforce needs, how many members of the required and what are the skilled labor required and how many members of the non-skilled labor is required and what are the requirement of the is supervisors, the engineers and preparation of the work breakdown structure and scheduling of the workforce and hiring the recruitment process and training and skill development for the people who are involved in the construction process and productivity monitoring and optimizing and health and safety compliance. These are the steps involved in the manpower planning. While going to be in detail about the steps, the assessment of the workforce is determine the labor requirement based on the project specifications and scope of the work and duration time, how many members of the skilled labor, semi-skilled labor or unskilled labor are required. Well, coming to the preparation of the work breakdown structure, divide the project in smaller tasks or activities for the identification of the workforce requirement for each and every task and assigning the labor according to the project phases. For the example of the excavation, foundation, superstructure and finishing works. When we coming to the construction of a building, those four or three basic components of the building are required for the excavation, foundation, superstructure as well as the finishing process. Then coming to the scheduling of the workforce. How can we schedule the workforce for the creating of the labor deployment schedule to ensure the work community or continuity and allocate the workers effectively or efficiently to avoid the bottlenecks. So there are few steps also required in the manpower planning, hiring and recruitment also there for the planning of the recruitment process to hire skilled and experienced laborers. Maintain a balance between the permanent and temporary workers based on the project needs. So when we go for the training and skill development, provide the training for the workers on safety as construction techniques and construction equipment handling process for the ensuring of the compliance with the labor laws and safety standards. And productivity monitoring and optimizing. There is a very much need of the optimization process of the labor. Sometimes we need more number of labor, sometimes we need less number of labors. Like that we should be optimize the labor quantity while going to be implementation of each and every tasks. Then coming to the health and safety compliances, which is very much important for the implementation of the safety measures, such as personal protective equipment must be wear by the construction laborer or by the skilled person or by the engineers, etc. They are going to be implementation and conduct the regular safety drills and risk assessments also. These are the steps involved in the manpower planning. Then coming to the what are the challenges in the manpower planning? There are more number of challenges will be occurred while the construction process is going on. There are few numbers of these challenges are shortage of the skilled labor persons. Sometimes we need a very frequently or a very closely skilled persons or skilled labor are required. This is also a type of challenge we can take. And high labor turnover and absentees may be happens, and hardware's weather conditions effectively productivity also it will be affected. So these are the number of challenges will be present in the planning of the manpower. Then coming to the material, this is the second part, requirement of the resource, that is the material planning in the construction field. So material planning ensures that the construction materials are available at the right time, in the right quantity, and optimal cost. So, what are the steps involved in the material planning? Material requirement analysis and procurement planning and inventory management. So, then storage and handling process and quality control and inspection process. These are the number of steps will be present in the material planning process. So, what are the challenges in the material planning process? So, there may be fluctuation due to marketing trends. Price fluctuations may be occurs. Sometimes the material prices may be increases or decreases. These are the fluctuations may be happens while the construction process is going on. And delays in the procurement and transportation process. Maybe it will be delays. It will be take more time for the coming towards the construction process. The material may be delays. The procurement process also may be delays because of lack of the suppliers or lack of knowledge on the suppliers, and risk of material theft or misusing of the materials may be happens. There are more wastage will be happens in the construction process while the material handling is not properly in the condition. These are the number of challenges in the material planning may be happens during the construction process. And equipment planning, how it will be. In construction equipment planning ensures the availability of the right machinery at the right time to optimize the productivity and reduce the downtime. So equipment is also very much need for the construction process, because more number of people nowadays they are going to be use of the equipment process only. Less number of people they are going to be preferring the labor process or manpower they are going to be using. So first step in the equipment planning is we should be identify what type of equipment is required. This is very much important for the construction process, without wasting of the purchasing of equipment. So we listed types of the equipment is needed, like excavators, cranes, how many needed, and loaders how many needed, trucks how many needed, concrete mixtures how many needed. So these are the identification is must and should need for the identifying of the equipment process, and determine the capacity and specifications based on the project need. What type of specifications is we should be implement. That is also important. And ownership versus rental analysis. So we should be decide whether to purchase or rent equipment based on the project duration. Sometimes the duration of the project is very lesser time, then we go for the rent of the each equipment process. Or if you go for the long time project, long duration projects is then we go for the purchasing process of the equipment. So we should consider the cost benefit ratio for the both options. So whichever is needed or whichever is beneficial for the construction process, and whichever is the most economical process we should be implement, whether we go for the rental process or purchasing of the equipment process. That is the second step we should be implement. Then the third one is the scheduling equipment usage. Develop an equipment deployment schedule to avoid the idle time. Sometimes the equipment will be in idle places or idle time, and should be reduce the idle time. We should be deployment, or we should be schedule how the equipment is needed. which days equipments are needed. So there should be allocate equipment efficiently across multiple project sites. So these are the three steps involved in the equipment planning, and one more is maintenance and repair planning also is needed. For the reducing of the maintenance cost, we should be implement preventive maintenance schedule to avoid the breakdowns. Maintain the records of servicing and repairs history also. So this record is very much essential while the quality control will be comes to the inspection process. These are the maintenance and repairs of the history we should be known. Should be show the quality control maintenance people. And operator training and safety measures also required. So who are operating the machinery or equipment should be trained. The equipment usage is efficiently and effectively. And fuel and operational cost management. Monitor fuel consumption and optimize machinery use, and which will be reduces the wastage by ensuring proper equipment handling process. So friends, these are the steps involved in the equipment planning process, and what are the challenges also very much required. High maintenance costs for the owned machinery. If you go for the purchasing of the machinery, the high maintenance cost will be purchased and delay due to equipment breakdowns and fluctuating on the rental cost. Maybe this time is a very short, slow, very smaller cost, and after 2 or 3 months, maybe the rental cost maybe increases or decreases. It will be happens. So which will be also overcome. These are the number of challenges for the construction of a building by the equipment planning process. Then coming to the last one, financial, which is also known as money. Money planning is also very much important in the construction field. The financial planning ensures that the project is funding adequately and expenditures are controlled to prevent the cost overruns. Maybe the cost will be increases or decreases, we don't know. That is the way the balancing or optimizing of the financial planning is very much needed. So the number of steps involved in the financial planning is estimating project cost. So while going to be construction of a building, we should be estimate the project cost. Total cost is very much needed. It will be covers material, labor, equipment, overheads, and which will be includes the contingencies for the unforeseen expenses. Maybe happens in the future. The unfortunately increasing or decreasing of the cost will be happens. That is the meaning of contingencies. Contingencies for the unforeseen expenses. And cash flow management also is a second step, planning for the steady cash flow to meet payment obligations and avoid the financial shortages that may be have that may be halt construction process. And funding and financing options also there, securing the project financial through loans, investments, government grants, and which will be ensures the proper fund allocation for the each and every project phase. Then coming to the cost control monitoring process also, a type of step in the financial planning, tracking of the project expenses and compare them against the budget, and implementation of the cost cutting measures without compromising the quality. Quality is very much essential. So without happening or without spending or without compromising the quality, we should be implement each and every activity in the construction process. And payment scheduling process also there for the contractor billing, wages payments, daily wages or monthly wages, monthly salaries. So that should be also properly planned. And financial reporting and auditing process is the maintenance accurate the financial records for the project transparency. And finally conduct the periodical audits to identify the cost inefficiencies. So where we done the mistakes, that will be also analyzed by the conducting of the audits. Then coming to the what are the challenges in the financial planning process. There are more number of challenges will be there, but only few number we located here. Cost overruns due to poor budgeting process. If not properly budgeting process is there, the cost overruns may be happens. The increasing of the cost of the material, manpower, or equipment may be that is the one type of challenge. And payments may be delays from the client, affecting cash flows. And inflation affecting material and labor costs. Inflation means what? Increasing or decreasing of the material or labor cost, maybe a type of challenge in the financial planning while the construction process is going on. Then coming to the conclusion, these are the four number of areas we are going to be planning. One is the manpower, second one is the material, equipment, and financial is the backbone of the successful construction process or project management. So proper resource allocation and optimization is required to lead on-time completion, cost saving, and quality assurance. So these are the things maybe happens in the planning of manpower, material, equipment, and financial in a construction process. If you go for the example, so a small example we have taken here, 10-story building, that is the commercial building. We are going to be planning for the manpower, civil engineers how many are required, and masons how many are required, and carpenters how many are required, and steel workers how many are required, and general labor how many are required, and safety officers how many are required. We have in detail we are located here, and material costs and material planning also, cement bags, steel bars, sand, aggregates like coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, and bricks how many are required for the construction process, and how much quantity of the concrete is required. So in detail we are going to be planning about the material. And equipment process also, excavator how many are required, concrete mixture how many are required, and cranes how many are required, and vibrator machine how many are required, and dump trucks how many are required So financially also, labor wages in lakhs we are showing here, 15 lakhs, material costs 30 lakhs, equipment rental 10 lakhs, and miscellaneous works, maybe paints or contingencies will be happens, or admit costs. These are the comes under miscellaneous category. And total cost 60 lakhs, round figure we are saying the financial planning like this. So finally what we conclude, the conclusion of the manpower is 33 workers are required, material, cement, steel, sand, brick, etc. are required, and equipment, how many are equipment are required, like mixers or missions, excavators how many are required, detail we done in the planning process. And financial support or investment or budgeting also, 60 lakh of the budgeted we required for the construction processes going on. So by this way we can very detailed planning of the manpower, material, finance as well as equipment we have done while the construction process is started. Before construction of this building or a structure, we should be plan very frequently or very confidentially these things maybe happens. Thank you very much. This topic is very much important for the examination point of view. So we should be aware about writing about the each and every planning process. Thank you very much.